Hello and welcome to Big Bang Radio Spotlights. This is a show where we talk to independent artists from all over the world about their music and the process for making it. I'm your host, Arthel Hayes, and today we talked to Miloe, a Minneapolis-based musician. Without any further ado, here's the interview. We start off asking our artists the same question every time for the first question. So, what is your earliest musical memory?
I grew up going to church every Sunday with my parents and like being a part of the church choir. So I think my earliest musical memory is just like being like a little baby and just like hearing all this music like consuming me.
Into that, you started playing piano at age 6, I believe is what it said, and you picked up more instruments growing up. So what was your first experience like playing in front of a group of people, and how old were you when that happened?
I think it was probably when I was 8 years old and I had like first moved to America. I came here and I saw like my fellow students like being in band, like and playing like orchestra instruments and stuff. And I quickly wanted to join, so I joined as like a percussionist. And I was literally like the new African kid that was playing the bongos. That was my first experience playing in front of people. It was very cool. It was in front of my school.
I was in high school band too. I played the saxophone. Not as cool as percussion, but
I always wanted to play the saxophone.
really, you should pick it up. It's surprisingly easy to pick up.
Nice.
So, what was your most memorable live performance, good or bad?
The most, the one that I can think of right now is a few weeks ago we opened for Coin in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it was while the Hurricane Ian was hitting South Carolina. So it was absolutely chaotic outside and like they had these plastic sheets on the doors outside of the venue so that if the water level rose, it wouldn't seep into the venue. And during the set, I like felt really ambitious and I like went to the barricade and I like stood up on the barricade and then at some point I just leaped and then just like fell very slowly through the crowd all the way to the floor. They did not pick me up.
Oh no. Well, at least they didn't let you drop.
Yeah, it was a soft drop.
Nice. That must have been, that sounds really memorable.
I think Raleigh was our like my favorite show at least. Like the crowd was so lit. Um Especially like I think the hurricane added a sense of like a little zest to the evening. But yeah, North Carolina, like everybody was super nice. I think I tried to sign, someone asked me to sign like their forehead with a pen, ballpoint, like ballpoint pen. So yeah, there's cool people. There's interesting people.
So, talking about people, what do you want people to take away from your music?
You know, I think they're gonna take away different things. I hope that they can hear um how much like fun I'm having making it. I hope they can feel like my passion for the music that I'm making and that it um soundtracks some like cool aspects of their life. I think that's always like a really cool thing. Like making music, you don't realize that like you're soundtracking like people's experiences as they're moving through their day. So yeah, I hope it enhances your days.
I picked up on something when I was listening to Gaps. So, there's a lot of references and visuals about space in it. Where did
Yeah.
you get that inspiration from? Where'd that come from?
My neighbor next door has these wind chimes on her house and I would be up like very late trying to like work on demos for Gaps. Um and I could just like hear like morning at like 4 in the morning, like while I'm working on demos, I could hear like little like morning birds and like wind chimes and stuff and like the trees rustling. So I started like recording that and putting it into the songs. And the like the grainy, like glittery wind chime texture made me think of stars. And so stars have kind of been the way to visually represent some of the textures on the EP. And the EP is also about like um, how like music can take you into a flow state or like whatever aspect of your life like takes you into like a zone where you're like not really like in a normal perception of like space and time. And so yeah, like starry, like cosmic imagery has been how I'm kind of showing that.
Wicked. Oh, I loved it. It was, I remember seeing the cover for Gaps, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I already knew the vibes. I could feel the vibes of like what the music was going to be just from looking at it. And then the music video, oh, it was wonderful. I love the end of it.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a fun summer like shooting all that stuff with my friends in Minnesota and like making cool edits and like going through family photos and like compiling different collages and stuff. Yeah.
Dope. So, when it comes to, you talked a little bit about your process for making, working on songs for Gaps, but in general, when you're making a new song, what comes first, music or lyrics?
I think almost always it's like a riff idea. Usually I'm on like guitar or bass. Um, yeah. Sometimes I think when I was like a little younger, I was writing poetry, like in my phone or on paper. But yeah, as like music stuff kind of has picked up, I tend to go to my guitar. But yeah, I plan on doing more writing exercises. So
So, do you ever, I know you, again, you mentioned the wind chimes. So, what else, what are some other things that you've used that aren't instruments in your music to get a specific sound?
I on Where You Are in the bridge, I sample like my family watching TV in the other room. Um, so little stuff like that. I think that's kind of the only thing that's like a non-instrument sample.
Oh, so if you weren't playing music, what do you think you'd be doing in life?
I feel like there's many things that I could be doing even now. But I've always been drawn to just like creating different things. I was like a theater kid. So I was like into acting, and then I got into like photography, graphic design stuff that I still do now, um, and like making little videos and editing. So generally, I feel like I'd be trying to create as much as I can. Outside of creating, I feel like philosophy is really interesting. Um, yeah, like learning about like theology and spirituality, like that stuff is interesting to me. So yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your TEDx talk. How was that for you? What was that experience like?
The TEDx talks was really cool. It was very surreal. Like being in the symphony hall in Nashville. Um, but yeah, everybody was really kind, and I got to play a really nice guitar in like a very beautifully acousticized room. It just sounded really good in there. Yeah, it's a good time.
Dope. All right, so my last question for today is where can people find you online?
People can find me at milomusic.com. I have a TikTok at Milo Music, and I have Instagram and all that other stuff at Milo Music.
Thanks to Milo for sitting down and talking all about his music with us. If you want to see more interviews just like this one, you can find us online at Studio 67 NCC. Thank you all for watching. I'm Arthel Hayes, and don't forget to stay wicked.